Okay. Well, first off, this video here is not for the squeamish, and if you are not a boxing fan and you're one of those kind of guys that are just going to base everything out of emotions and because he's your fellow countryman or whatever the case is, and you have a personal vendetta towards Antonio Margarito, well, might as well just stop this video because I really don't care for the nonsense arguments. One thing that I've learned, you can't argue with people that don't even want to look to debate. They just want to insult. So if you're going to want to insult people that are on the forums or me about what I'm about to say, log off because I'll just remove your comment, probably just block you. Because try to keep this forum on YouTube is about as clean as we can and stuff. And some people get a little too racist and too personal about a prediction or about a particular fighter. But let's go into this. November 13th. It's been a minute since I've done a video, and a lot of people have been waiting for me to talk about this. And I waited to the last minute just because of the fact that I did talk about and give out my prediction on Leave It in the Ring radio. But here it is now. Okay, let's break down both fighters. Manny Pacquiao obviously has been doing a fantastic job being moved up with Freddie Roach. I had said in the past, and people have followed after when I have said by saying that Freddie Roach to me is a great matchmaker. He knows how to maneuver his fighters into positions that's going to benefit them. Yes, some people don't agree with the catch weights. Yes, some people don't agree about them having leverage over particular contracts about fights. But that's what happens when you become the big superstar. So you can't hate the player, just hate the game. That's basically what you can do and stuff. So Manny Pacquiao is kind of walk over Ricky Hatton, which in my opinion was not even a fight that should have been made because Hatton was not in the same pedigree of Manny Pacquiao. Now he goes in and he stepped in with Miguel Cotto, which I had predicted Manny Pacquiao stopping Miguel Cotto because I thought Miguel Cotto, and I still think Miguel Cotto is not of the past when he had faced Antonio Margarito. Now, then he gets in with Joshua Kaladi. Now, a lot of us thought that he was going to be a little bit more competitive, but I did predict that, Joshua was just not going to be, he wasn't going to be there fast enough to counter. He's never been an aggressive fighter. He's always been a defense type of guy. He's like a poor man's version of Ike Corte. And he really honestly did a great impersonation of Winky Wright when he got in with Manny Pacquiao. So Manny's pretty much has had his way in the ring with the opponents that he put in front of him. And like many others, I was also upset about Antonio Margarito getting a shot and getting a major, major payday against Manny Pacquiao. But it was made. And now we got to face the facts that this fight has been made and materialized. So we have to sit back and now analyze it and see whether or not base things off of hatred or dislike or whatever, because it's already made. So now we got to move forward, and move forward exactly is what's going to happen on November 13th. Manny Pacquiao walks in at 144, where Margo came in at exactly 150. Now, Antonio Margarito, his last fight with Robert Garcia, it wasn't the greatest fight, but they wanted to put rounds in. This is what the camp has been saying. They wanted to put rounds in after Antonio Margarito dropped Garcia in the first round. They told him not to take him out because they knew that they were going to get the fight with Manny Pacquiao. So they told him, you need the rounds. You need to work in the ring. You need to get the ring rust off. And he did what he had to do. Now, I still was very skeptical. I had thought, you know what? Not really sure whether or not Margo was completely back, but I had a chance to go down and see him in Hollywood at Fortune Gym, and I tell you, there's very subtle things. Now, Margarito's never had the greatest style in the world. He's not the fastest cat, and he doesn't have the greatest defense, but there's things that you can kind of fine tune and make it a little bit better, which is he likes to widen up his shots when he throws. And I spoken to Robert Garcia, and he said, he always thought that he would get more power if he opened up, if he got air between the arm and the rib. And what he did is he kind of compact him and made sure that he was throwing from the elbow, which a boxer should always want to throw because from the elbow the punch is going to land first a lot quicker and it's going to hurt, and a lot of times the opponent's not going to see the punch coming. If you watch Manny Pacquiao, he throws from the elbow. His hand, that's why his hands are so fast. Okay, added that he's gifted with the hands, with the hand speed, but they look a lot faster because he doesn't wind them. He just throws them down the pipe, which I really like what he does there. Okay, now styles make fights. That's something that people got to look. And people, for some reason, are thinking that Manny Pacquiao is going to blow out Antonio Margarito the way he blew out Ricky Hatton. I hate to break it to you, but when's the last time we've seen Manny Pacquiao really blow anybody out except for Ricky Hatton, who we all knew Ricky did not have the greatest chin even at 140. Okay, moved up, didn't have the greatest chin. He got rocked by Walascano. Then he gets to him with Manny, and Manny did exactly what a lot of us thought, just a little earlier. Okay, now if you go back and you look, styles make fights. Now people are making comparisons to Sugar Shane Mosley and what he did in Antonio Margarito, and which is really kind of, I don't know why you're doing that. Shane and Pac do not even fight the same way. Shane Mosley had the right way of kind of, shutting down Antonio Margarito in the fight. What he basically did is throw one shot, he held, and then he opened up in the inside. When have we known Manny Pacquiao to be a good inside fighter? He's never had to be a good inside fighter. He does very well on the outside. Now, Antonio Margarito is a tall, long, rangy 5'11" Mexican guy, but doesn't like to use that length. He uses it to find range, and then he ends up shutting the distance, and he likes to go to the body and come back to the uppercuts, which is something that Manny Pacquiao has not perfected on defense. Now, that's the other thing there too, is that Manny Pacquiao has never had the greatest defense. As fast as he is, he hasn't had the greatest defense. I mean, go back to Cotto, he was marked up. Go back when Joshua Kaladi opened up a little bit on him. Manny was marked up. Manny his head was snapped back by uppercuts. He didn't have an answer or defense to a straight right from neither one of those guys, from Cotto and Kaladi, and that's something that kind of concerns me with Manny Pacquiao stepping in with Antonio Margarito. The 144 limit that they stepped in. I know what they're thinking. They're thinking keep Manny light so that his speed, is going to be the difference of the fight. But my whole thing is this: what good is speed if you got no meat to hold the bigger guy off? Okay, and what I mean by that is that Margo has been known to walk through shots. Now, if Margo's chin is intact and it's not damaged, and him not making weight, and he was weight drained when he fought Shane Mosley, if all that is true and he's not weight drained in this fight, Manny Pacquiao is going to have a tough time, pushing or getting Margarito to be discouraged to come forward. So those are things there that you got to really look at. Now, people say he's got, he throws from, different angles. He does, but look how he throws from different angles. Okay, if you look at Floyd Mayweather, Floyd does the same thing. He throws from different angles, but Floyd throws with a 1-2 punch and then he's out of there. Manny tends to switch angles, and he likes to throw a 5 to 6, even sometimes an 8 punch combination. That's exactly what Antonio Margarito wants him to do, because that gives the slower fighter to at least land 1 or 2 punches, at least 1 punch. They're banking. Listen to what they've been saying. I want to land 1 punch. They're banking on landing 1 punch at a time, that's Antonio Margarito's strategy from the get-go of his career. He knows he knows his strengths in every fight. He knows he's not the fastest guy in the world. He understands he needs to chop wood, in order to get a fighter out there. Antonio Margarito is also another guy, has not been known to be a big puncher. He's been known to outwork his opponents. And Manny Pacquiao, being that he's stepped up and facing bigger guys, he's been known as well to be a kind of guy that kind of chops away at his opponents to submit them, to make them not want to continue and stuff. Where Margarito is kind of in the similar fashion, okay? But he's a lot slower when it comes in terms of chopping down. But what Manny, like I said, he does these angles and he stays in the pocket. I'm wondering if Freddie has looked at that and saying, hey, you can't sit there too long. You can't throw those combinations, because the thing about Antonio Margarito, if you watch his fights and stuff, Antonio has this gift of, when getting punched, he's throwing a punch. So it lands. Watch all his other fights. The one that is the most telling is when he fought, Paul Williams and even Cotto. He's he's eating the shot and he's returning the shot. Okay, so that there walk concerns me a little bit with Manny Pacquiao. Another thing too, Manny can't go against those ropes. We've seen him in mid rounds where he gets kind of bored. He tends to get bored if he's just teeing off, and I could see him getting a little bored with Antonio Margarito, where he allows Margarito to build the momentum. Okay, and if that's one thing, Margo's not going to be. He's not going to be gun shy the way Cotto was, the way Kaladi was, the way David Diaz, the way Oscar was, the way Hatton was. He's not going to be gun shy. He's going to continue to put the pressure on because that is their game plan. That's the only game plan they have. Because the fact is, he can't outbox Pacquiao. He can't outspeed him. He's not going to out footwork him. He's got to just make this fight, a street back alley type of fight. He's got to go to him. He's got to trap him against the ropes. So Manny, I hope he doesn't want to walk himself back. Freddie has stressed that he doesn't want him to, but we've seen Manny be a little stubborn, and let's be honest. He's the boss of his own world, so he's gonna do what Manny wants to do. So that's one of the other things that I have concerns of Manny not walking himself back, and if he does, he's gonna pay dearly for it because Margarito, is gonna go to the body and he's gonna use those uppercuts, something that Manny has not perfected in blocking and stuff. So what is my prediction? Well, if there's one thing Manny could do is fantastic is he knows how to just all of a sudden tee off. Okay, he can tee off at any point at any time, at any rhythm. He's got that that jerky rhythm and stuff, and boom boom, he just explodes. Okay, well that's where Margo's gonna have to really look at it, and the subtle things that he's gonna have to do is keep those hands high. He's gonna have to dig deep with the jab to offset him, to allow him to kind of throw jump out of angle, and then he can drop his right hand. But he's gonna have to pivot with him. He's gonna have to be in front of him, okay? And unfortunately, Antonio Margarito's gonna have to be in the jaws of the lion in this fight. He's gonna take a beating. I could see Margarito's face just getting really, really puffed up. I mean, busted up to a point you're not going to recognize him to get the punches he needs to get with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao at 144, really small frame. I know there's been concerns in the camp that he's not too serious, where Antonio Margarito looks like he's all business. When's the last time have we seen a fighter really honestly show he does not like Manny Pacquiao? He does not respect the accomplishments that Manny Pacquiao has done. Antonio has really kind of shown that he doesn't care what Manny Pacquiao has done. He wants to show the world that he wants to be back on top. Okay, where he had fell off a year ago when he shamefully tried to come in with loaded gloves against Sugar Shane Mosley. Now, what's gonna happen in this fight? I've never, I haven't picked against Manny Pacquiao since the Oscar De La Hoya. Everybody that's been put in front of Manny has been put in for great matchmaking, and really honestly, you got to look at Manny being at the top of his game against these other welterweights. Okay, but they haven't been the biggest welterweights and stuff. But I'm not looking at this on size. Because Manny has shown you can be bigger than him, but if you're not going to throw, he's going to outclass you. Well, Antonio Margarito is a different type of beast here. He's a big guy, but he's a guy that likes to throw. He likes to throw volumes of punches. So to me, he's almost like a Manny Pacquiao fashion. Likes to throw a lot of volume of punches, but he's slow, right? He is slow, but Pacquiao likes to fight. Pacquiao doesn't like to go backwards. He doesn't know how to fight backwards. He only knows how to fight forward, and to me, he's going to get in danger by doing that with Antonio Margarito. Juan Marquez was a smaller man, was able to rock Manny with the uppercut. So was Miguel Cotto. So was Joshua. They were able to touch him with the uppercut, and that's the bread and butter money right there for Antonio Margarito. So what do I see? I see, them getting in the mix and Manny being in the pocket too long and allowing Antonio Margarito to touch him one or two times, where it's just going to be enough to slow down Manny Pacquiao, where Manny's going to want to touch his gloves and come forward, and he's going to end up finding himself against those ropes where Antonio Margarito is going to chop until, hate to say it, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be upset, and you guys are going to say that, you're only, you don't like Manny Pacquiao, you don't want to see the little Asian guy, come up. Dude, the guy has his face on an airplane, okay? You know what I mean? I think we can already stop saying that we don't want to see him come up. Okay, he's congressman already, but I think he's more congressman now And I hate to say this, I think I just kind of see Manny kind of getting bored with the sport of boxing. And I know some of you guys are gonna say, "Oh, you're making excuses for him and stuff," but it happens, man. It happens to a lot of fighters where they feel they've accomplished everything. I just kind of see Manny's not really taking them too serious in this fight. So I got Antonio Margarito stopping Manny Pacquiao in the later rounds, probably around the eighth or ninth round. That's what I got and stuff. Antonio Margarito stopping Manny Pacquiao, and then hopefully Manny gets his mind back into the game, comes back, and on a rematch, and then we see a different Manny Pacquiao. All right.